Today we're going to work on making dog toys from t-shirts. These are sturdy, durable, dogs love them, and they have 3 knots for them to gnaw on. And there's also this version that has a loop at the top for the smaller dogs. So let's get started. The first step is to cut up a t-shirt. Cut across under the arms. Now I try to use as much of a t-shirt as possible. I take off all the seams so they make it nice. Okay, so here's the bottom of the shirt, and this is what we're going to use. I line up the hems. And cut the hems off in a straight line. Okay, and what you are left with is a very large loop of t-shirt. So you're going to want to make that as flat as possible with no wrinkles. Fold it up to about there from the end. Now for the doggy toys, I cut it about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Because we want it a little bit thicker than what I would use to, say, weave a rug. You can do this with a rotary cutter. I don't like rotary cutters, so I tend to just use scissors to cut things. And even up your end. Okay, so at this point, put your hand in it. Your first cut will be from the center to there. And then from there on out, it's cut to cut. It's the same way I cut my plastic bags. Cut to cut. And the last one to the center, like that. Okay, so now you have one big strand, and here's the beauty of t-shirts. You take it, you step on it and pull it, and it'll go into this nice round loop. So you just keep doing that. Step and pull. Step and pull. Okay, and that's one t-shirt ready to go. Just ball it up, and it's probably about 1/4 inch wide. And I'll be doing my other t-shirts, and we'll get back to how to make the toy in a minute. Okay, so I've cut up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors, and I've taken and I've measured out 6-foot pieces of the 6 different colors. And I'm going to get them all lined up here at the beginning. And we're going to put a knot. I use this many because I like a nice thick dog toy because I have 2 German Shepherds. And it takes them a while to destroy these. That was not a nice knot. I think I got everything up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, I didn't. There's one. Okay, once you have a knot, the trick is to make it as tight as possible. And the way I do that, first is pull it tight, and then one by one, tug them. Now I've got that side, and I do the same to the other side. As you can see, you can get quite a bit, and your knot will continue to tighten up as you're doing these one at a time. Okay, so that's step one. We got a knot at the top. I have 6 colors. I'm going to use 2 colors of the same color at a time. So I'm going to gather them up. Try to mate them with their colors somewhere in here. 2 greens, 2 yellows, 2 blues. Okay. The hardest part is the beginning. And it doesn't matter what color you start with. You make a loop. And then the next color goes over that. Here's your loop. And then it goes under it. And then your next color, which is gray, will go over the white and then under it. The next color, let's go green, will go over the gray and under it. Next color will be blue, over and then under it. Last color is yellow. It'll go over the blue and under it. And as you could see, as I was rotating it, come back to my red loop. And that goes inside that loop. Now, here's where it gets tricky. In the beginning, it's sloppy. You just go around and you tighten. As tight as you can to try to make, when you're done, it'll visually look pretty even with all the colors. See how all the colors mesh in there? Okay, so we got the first row in. I turn it. I work on a table. It tends to help me out. Doesn't matter what color you start with. You just start with the loop. Next color, over and under, over and under. Next color is over and under, over and under, over and under, and we hit our loop again and we pull it through. Flip it up and start tightening. Oops, sorry, moved a little too fast there. I usually go around twice for each row. And that gives it really snug. The snugger it is, the longer and tougher it is for the dog to get their teeth to tear it apart. Okay, so there's your next row. And I keep doing that. So, hold on a second, I untangle my threads. There we go. And I'm ready to start the next row. Any color will be the start as long as it's a loop. Then you go over and under. This goes over it and under, over it and under, over it and under, over it and under. Now, I happen to use 6. You could do it with 8, you could do it with 10, you could do it with whatever number that you want to make it. because the number is dependent on the thickness of your dog toy. If you want a thin one, don't use as many. And do you have to use 2 of the same color? No. It's just that's the way I did it to make the colors bright. And as you can see, we're getting a pattern developed. This will be a very colorful dog toy. Over and under, over and under, over and under, over and under, over and under. Here in the beginning, after a couple rows, you're going to have to untangle everything, but it makes it pretty easy to do. And as it gets shorter, you don't have the tangling issues. Flip it up and just start pulling and tightening it up. Okay, I'm going to continue doing this until I hit 6 inches, and then I'll join you back again. I've managed to put enough rows on so that when I measure it, it's about 6 inches. And that's where I want to put my next knot. And the reason I put a knot in the center is because dogs like to chew on the knots. And then even if they destroy this and they tear it apart, there's still a section of this that's good with knots on both sides. And I've seen mine even just take the little section that's broken off and just chew away on the knots. Okay, we want to bring this up as close as we can to our braiding. You see how I have it pulled up that way? And then we start that process of one by one, pulling it tighter. If you don't want to deal with the knot in the center, don't put it in there. But like I said, our dogs seem to prefer it. And because I brought that up, it makes it nice and tight near that. Okay, I can see that gray needs tightened. But it's not that gray, maybe this gray. There it is. And you could pick out the ones that might need tightened, but that looks pretty tight all the way around. And now I'm ready to start the same process that I did before, which is going to make a loop. There again, it really doesn't matter the order. Take it over and under the, over and under. Next color, over and under, over and under, over and under. They don't have to be the same colors. You can mix them up. And you could do it individually if you want, but it takes twice as long as if you use each strand. And everything is dependent on how many strands you have, how thick it's going to be. And as you can see here, this green needs tightened up because it's puffier than the others. And you see when you pull it tight, now it makes it pretty equal. Okay, there's your first row. Flip it over and start going through it again. Make the loop. Over, under, over, under, over and under, over and under, over and under, and there's my loop. These are great if you have t-shirts. I go to yard sales and I buy t-shirts for $1. And if the t-shirts are in really good shape and the colors are nice, I make rugs out of those. But if the colors are a little off, or the t-shirts are a little bit worn, or like the color, this one was somebody who worked very hard, so there was some stains on it. I use those for the dog toys because the dogs don't seem to care if there's a slight stain on it. And as you can guess, I'm going to keep this going for another 6 inches. So I did another 6 inches of braiding here, and I'm ready to put a knot. And even though it looks like I have a lot more, you wouldn't believe the amount of fabric it takes to make a knot. So I always just do 6 and 6, and that seems to work out pretty good because a lot of times 1 or 2 threads will end up being short. And you work it through. And hope you got all of them. And if not, sometimes I've had to fish 1 or 2 through. I see I didn't make that red one get through. There we go. And just like the center knot, you're going to try to bring it up a little bit over your braiding. And now we get to tighten it. And then you take your scissors and trim them off. But you want to leave a little bit of a dangle because dogs, for some reason, like to swat themselves in the face with these things. And there you go. You have a dog toy. Okay, thanks for watching.